there, this is Vahid from VRF Education channel, and it is the 5th session of creating GUI for Python application automatically with just one line of code. As I mentioned in previous session, I was supposed to add filtering option to SimpleGrid, and I think it's not simple anymore, and it's an advanced grid because it supports all the operation that we need to have in a data grid. Anyway, I add filtering option to this version of SimpleGrid widget, and you can make use of it by just mentioning one property in your annotation for related field in Python classes. When you enable it, in the first row of every page of SimpleGrid, you can see a row like this, a filtering row, and after that you can see real data. And I should mention that filtering play an important role in a large dataset. When you deal with a large dataset and you need to look for some specific objects without having filtering option, you need to go row by row and look for objects or entities that you are looking for. But with filtering, you can narrow your data range and find those items much easier. So I try to do my best for this option in this widget. First of all, I go through the object fields or the columns of a data grid and create appropriate widget based on the object types and also the widget that you mentioned in your annotation for that class. And these fields are added to the first row of each SimpleGrid widget page. And beside each widget, I add a down arrow option. And if you click that, I add a couple of options that show you or that enable you how to act on data with this filter. For example, for strings, I added contains, not contains, start with, ends with, or equal. And for the other type of object, I add appropriate options. And also, we have a reset option here, so we can reset the filters. It seems that you are not set filters at all. And beside it, I also add a down arrow. In this part, you can choose how to combine these filters together with two operators, and or. You can try to combine them using and operator, and if you want to make it wider or make the range of option wider, you can use or operators. We will see it in VS Code very soon. So this is the filtering option for SimpleGrid, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's go to VS Code and check all these items in practice. So let's see how to enable filtering option in SimpleGrid and how it works. If you didn't watch the previous session, I recommend to watch them first and then continue on this session. As I said at the beginning of the session, the main goal of this library is to help us creating GUI for Python application with just one line of code. And this is that line of code. We can easily call create GUI method from vpygui generator class and pass an object to it. Then the library goes through the object fields and properties, and finally it creates a dialog with appropriate or related widget to each field or property types for us, and also bind those fields and properties with the related widget, so we can read the current values and change the current state of the object based on your opinion or your needs. Okay. We talked about these abilities in previous session, and today we are going to focus one more time on SimpleGrid widget. This widget is very handy when we want to work with large data set. This widget right now supports CRUD operations, and with the new features that I added to this widget, you can use filtering option. It's very necessary when you work with data set and you're looking for some specific items and you need to filter the data instead of looking for those items manually. Let's run the application without enabling the filtering option. Okay, it's just the same as the previous session, and some minor bugs also resolved. Okay, and you can use it with more confidentiality. So this is a table widget, and data loaded in this widget automatically, and pagination also enabled. You can change the number of rows inside the page, each page, and also you can go through the pages using these navigation buttons. Go to second page, third page, fourth page, or you can go back to the first page using this button, last page. And you can also delete items. Imagine that I'm going to delete first 10 rows. You can just press delete button. Yes, this, yes, yes, yes. And right now I deleted the 10 first items, and I'm going to update this row, the row that the city equals to 20. So you can press edit buttons. I'm going to change the items. For example, change to qwerty 11, change it to the maximum number, remove all the phones, and add 22 here for the NO33, and change the date also to the last day of the month. And let's also add some item inner object, ASDD 1122, and I don't need to have any things in list option. Okay, if I press OK, this item updated respectively. So if I go to the last page, no, let's add a new item also. I'm going to add another item, A1 2 3, and change it to 2022 December 31st, and also change this one with Q and set it to the maximum number and press OK. So this item also added to the end of the list. You can see it here. And if I press OK, you can see 10 first items deleted, item 20 changed to this item, and also I added one new item at the end of the list after the record with the city of 35. So these functionalities are the same as the previous version or the previous session, and just some minor bugs are resolved. So let's see how we can use filtering option with this SimpleGrid widget. To enable filtering, you should use these properties in annotation. Put comma at the end and show filtering equal to true. By using this key value pair in the annotation, filtering option will be enabled for this widget. Let's run the application and see the output. So if you enable the filtering option, the first row on every simple widget page contains some widgets related to the column types that we set in the class definition in the annotation part of the properties, and you can filter dataset with these options. For example, for the state, I use Q combo box with 3 items, so you can easily select between these items. Okay, I will check them. And you can also change the page. In every page, you have this filtering option. It's not going anywhere. And for example, here I'm going to filter data and set those objects that their state column or their state field equal to false. If I select the false from the combo box, you can see I have only one page, and all the items here are equal to false. And also near each filtering widget, there's a down arrow. If you pressed it, there is a mechanism that how this filter should be applied on the dataset. For example, for combo box, I use equal and not equal. If I change it to not equal, everything are selected, that every object selected that their state not equal to false. So here I have 3 page with 25 data, and 10 rows or 10 objects have their state equal to false, so they are omitted from this output. And if you want to reset the data to the original data source, you can use reset button. It reset all the filtering options, everything cleared out, and again we have 4 pages with 35 items. And because I added this filtering to the first rows, 1 row is added to each page, and if you set 10 rows per each page, you can see the last item has the 11 as their text for the row. Okay, now you can combine the filtering. Without combining the filtering or the criteria, filtering option is not very good and handy, but you can filter them. For example, I'm going to set the state to false again, and I'm looking for the fields. Oh, it says it's equal. So I have only 10 items here, and I want to look for the city that their name or their I want to look for objects that their city fields contains 1. If you press the down arrow near to the text or the string type fields, you can see there are 5 different options: contains, not contains, starts with, ends with, and equal. And these are very the same that we use with string type in Python. So I use contains, and I typed here 1. So these are the only fields that their state these are the only objects that their state equal to false, and their cities also contain 1. So if I just use a start bits, you can see 31 omitted because it's not a start bit 1. It contains 1, but it's not a start bit 1. So if I change it to end bit, we have only 31. And if I press reset, all the criteria or all the filters reset, and we have the main dataset one more time. By default, you can, this library, SimpleGrid widget, combine the criteria with AND operator. So you can change it here. The default is AND, or you can use OR. So let's change one criteria. Again, I'm going for false. And those cities that are ends with 1. Okay, I have only one object. If I change it to OR, let's see what happened. Okay, this is not false, but city ends with 1. This is false. This is not false, but the city ends with 1. This is false, 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 and this is not false, but ends with 1. So we have 2 pages of data. And when you filter data, you can delete them. For example, I'm going to delete items from 10 to 20 that match these filters. 11, 13, 16, and 18 should be deleted. So I'm going to delete them. Delete, 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 delete. And again, I'm going to update this item. I press this one and change it to, for example, qtwidgets 11. Set it to maximum number. Remove 22. Just removing 22, not clear all of them, and change it to 22. And set the month to the last day or to the first day of the month, and press it OK. So everything changed, and changes are applied. And if I press OK, you can see after 10, we don't have 11, 13, 16, and 18, and also item 20 updated accordingly based on the data that we entered in that list. Okay, so this is the way that we can filter data. For numeric data, we have equal, not equal, less than, or greater than options. Also for spin boxes, and also for date and time, we have these 4 strategies. You can use them to filter your data. For example, I'm looking for the objects that their registered date is greater than, let's change it to December 2023 first. Okay, I have only 2 rows, 4 and 19, and you can then delete them. I'm going to delete them, and I'm going to reset. So 4 gone, and okay, 29 also gone, so they deleted. If I clean the output, and let's get back here one more time, I'm going to filter data to false one more time, and I forgot what I'm looking for. And here we have end. Okay. Let's add one new item also. I'm going to add new item here. When data are filtered, city equal to 1, 2, 3, street 1, 2, 3, postcode with the maximum number. Here we have 1, 2, 3 as the phone, and also NO equal to 1, 2, 3, and the date is equal to 2022, December 1st. Press OK, and the item added to the end of the list. And if I press OK, so you can see item 4 gone, item 29 deleted, and the new item added to the list. So this is the way how filtering options work with the SimpleGrid widget, and I try to do my best and adding some necessary functionalities for filtering, such as a strategy for each filter, and add appropriate options to each field based on the type, and also add the combination, how we can combine them. And it might have a couple of bugs right now. It would be appreciated if you use this widget and tell me about the bugs if you find any, so I can resolve them. I try to test in most scenarios, but some scenarios may be forgotten by me. So let me know if anything weird happened when you're using this library. I would be glad to hear you in the comment section. Until the next session, and looking for new functionalities. Goodbye.